who I'll just go through a few practicalities again, Soile, if you don't mind. The session will be recorded, and please know that if you do not wish to be in the recording, please switch off your camera. We will share all the recordings from today once they are ready and processed. Please be respectful to our speakers and colleagues and everybody in the room. We do have a code of conduct. So I'll stop talking, and we can press the recording button just now. Oh, I think it's been already pressed, so we don't need to. And I'll stop talking now, and I'll let you to speak. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Magdalena, and good morning, everyone. My name is Soile Manninen, and my colleague Maria-Liisa Kuusniemi is not unfortunately able to come today, but I think I can go through this by myself. So I just tell a little bit about my background. I have studied information studies and Finnish language, and my professional background is in legal informatics. So this was my background until 2019 when I came to University of Helsinki, and then they gave me one task, which was this DMP tooling work and collaboration on a national level. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about how our Finnish community works and how we are working together with DCC and DMPonline and DMP tooling to make things going forward related to machine actionable DMPs. So this is going to be our story here. So DMPonline and DMP tooling has worked together since 2016, as we talking about the official year, but the decision to purchase DMPonline was made in December 2015. And 2016 was the first year when they had this national pilot in Finland, and the national implementation was made in 2017. And then these different sub-working groups related to this tool made some collaboration to work as a national level colleagues to implement these DMP templates and different guidance on national level stakeholders. And we have this DMP template and guidance, which are still regularly updated, but now we are following quite a lot the Science Europe templates, but every organization has its own guidance, but we also have national DMP guidance for organizations, and different organizations can make their own guidance to make things more specific. So that is the main line in our guidance policy. And what was the things behind it, this project was so successful was that there were many volunteers from different sectors and organizations. So people noticed that we have to maintain this network alive so we can continue working together and develop collaboration and tool. And we had national funding, which was annual, and it was for the tool until 2021. And then it was noticed that we need to have more structured way to work in this DMP community and develop and fund this DMP tool and TMDV working with Finland. So the loose network wasn't enough anymore. So we had to make some decisions. We had to make some decisions to make things work properly. So I'm going to show you a little bit about the historical background in here, how our logos were changed, and how this Kickstart seminar, what kind of atmosphere there was when the tool was launched in 2015. The house was full in our library hall, and our head librarian started that meeting. And if you remember what kind of tool was Adobe Connect, I'm really thankful that we have Zoom nowadays. So this was very successful meeting, and in 2017, because this DMP tool purchase and network building was part of the National Open Science Project, we have this starting kickoff meeting, and all this work happened between 2015, 2017, and the end seminar was in 2017. And as you can see, there were lots of people then drinking coffee and discussing how this should be continued, and DMP Tuuli and Tuuli Office is part of the National Open Science Network still. And after 2021, there was established this DMP consortium. It holds now 23 organizations, and the core member of this community is CSC, it's IT Center for Science, which is owned by Finnish government and Finnish higher education institutions. And this community this consortium was based on the idea that we need to have research data management work that has some long-term basis, because the annual funding was a little bit, it was heavily governance, and it also meant that in the late part of the year was always the preparing to get the funding for the next year. So this made the development work quite bumpy. So we needed to have this kind of long-term vision, how we should go forward. And this CSC, IT Center of Science, is very core member of our consortium, because it has responsible for about many systems that are integrated to Finnish and our international research data infrastructure. So when we are planning something, that we should develop something for our tool and some kind of integrations, we have a good connection to the CSC, so we can start to develop these things together. And this official way how these things go on national level is that our consortium buys the service from the CSC, and CSC purchases the service from the Tuuli office. And this DMP consortium is this collaboration network, and we promote data management planning in Finland. And nowadays we have 32 higher education institutions and research organizations in our network and consortium. And we have a steering group, and it's appointed by the member organizations. And this year is the last year of the first term of this consortium, and the second term is now under prepare work, and it's going to start since 1st of January 25. And as part of this consortium, we have two subgroups, technical working group and communication working group. And this daily job related to DMP Tuuli is done here in National Help Desk in Helsinki University. And we are now working with the DMP Tuuli with my colleagues Maria-Liisa Kuusniemi and Tuija Korhonen, and I have the main part of the work, and Maria-Liisa Kuusniemi, which many of you might know, has worked all the way from the beginning with this tool, and she's very active in national and international level, so she's quite a worker in this field. And all this maintenance and development work of DMP Tuuli has been made together with DCC, and our DMP Consortium's technical group has a big role in the development work. And Tuuli office has also some other tasks we have to do. So our colleague Tuija Korhonen is chairing this national working group related to data management policies, which are for the research infrastructures. And we have different working groups, so we are involving the work these working groups are doing, and we have also some working groups where we are representing Tuuli office and this DMP tool, not our organization. So we have many hats, and sometimes it's a little bit difficult to recognize which hat we are using when we are part of some working groups. But usually we are quite widely networked in Finland in different groups, so it makes this work easier. And we have to report our work to the DMP consortium steering group, so we can continue our work and we get some good ideas from the steering group how we should continue this work together. And we are also organizing trainings and workshop for the DMP consortium, but we are also keeping alive the national level collaboration with those organizations which are not involved in our DMP consortium. So we have about 2 or 3 workshops per year and 2 or 3 trainings. It depends a little bit how much is happening around DMP Tuuli. And now I'm going to tell about a few words about this machine actionable grant ID and how this work started. In autumn 2020, our technical working group started the discussion how to proceed with this machine actionability with our tool. And there was a representative from the CSC, and they told about this API, which has been planned to the National Registry of our research information, research.fi, and it was coming in early 2023. So it was quite good idea to test this kind of national level information hub and how it can help to the integration between the DMP Tuuli and this national research hub. So first meetings were quite practical discussions, how to change our project details page, as you know what kind of structure it is in DMPonline. And the decision we made was that the funding decision number would be the first thing to ask in the project details page, and it should be top of the project details information. And we had a lot of communication between the DCC and CSC, and a lot about working with documentation and how this should work in different environments and this kind of thing. And we should translate some papers and this kind of quite practical and administrative thing on our behalf. And I can show, this is the main page of the research FI. It's a quite big service, and it includes all these publication information, funding goals, granted funding, and it also has nowadays this people, means there is a register of our researchers. Some have been registered in this system. There is no 390 researchers in Finland. It is a little bit bigger amount. And there is also information about research data and infrastructures and organizations. And there are latest science and research news. It's English user interface, but it seems there is only Finnish news on that page. And there are also these open funding calls information on the main site. So this collects together every kind of research information, what is happening in Finland or what is going to happen. So this is very big service, and CSC is the organization which is running this service. And if I didn't mention it earlier, CSC is under the Ministry of Culture and Education. So this is very important service, of course, to our ministry, because as we are now, universities in Finland are now independent organizations, but we still get a lot of public funding, which is related, for example, to the amount of publication, as many countries have this system. And we have to get the application to get the access to this API and to get the information from the research.fi to DMPonline. And DCC did the technical work together with CSC, and we met with both and discussed what is working and what is not working, and how we should prepare some things to work better. For example, we had a little talk about this OECD classification because there was this older version in use, but we decided to use the classification which was published 2015 because it is a standard in the field. So we should use that one. So these kind of decisions you have to make when you work this kind of integration. And here you can see, if you missed the first presentation that Don did earlier, it seems to be quite a simple solution to use this tool. So you just put the funding decision number, just push the button, get project details from research.fi, and then you get the metadata to the different fields of this project details page. And we just had last week the presentation of this new feature, and we have received good feedback until this day, but the real test is going to be in this June and July, when our biggest research funder funding decisions are published. And we have updated this feature to the major funder templates in Finland. This is Research Council of Finland, and they have these basic Research Council of Finland data management plan guidelines and data management policy guidelines too. And the European Commission is another, and it's international level funder. And we have updated this feature to ERC and Horizon Europe templates too. Sorry about this. And now I'm going to share some of the thoughts, how this, what this work has been taught to us. Sorry, I need to do some coughing now. As we have worked with these new features, we have noticed that it's a lot easier to implement different functionalities that benefits other DMPonline users too. And these system-specific customizations for DMPonline are just to create more work and cost to us and other stakeholders. So it is easier to make these functionalities that are useful to others too. And Finland is a good area to test these new features because we are a relatively small country and the stakeholders interact many other ways. As I told earlier, that CSC is a core partner in our collaboration and consortium. CSC has a lot of responsibilities from different tools, so this is the one. And people know each other from the national working groups related to open science. So we are good. We are good in networking in national level. So this is a good way to work together to get things done. And the DMP Consortium has been very active and involved this development work to get these new features to DMP tooling and DMPonline. And it's good and possible to influence the development of the DMP tools on the national and international level. But it requires good and realistic ideas, and it requires people, time, and collaboration to make this done. We are in the age of artificial intelligence, but machines are not yet doing everything, so we still need people to make things done. So this was my presentation, and now I hope you have some questions and comments. And if there is someone from Finland and wants to add something, I think that is possible too. Thank you.
Thank you, Soile. Thank you so much for your presentation and for your time taking this morning to present how you work in Finland. I think it's a very unique way because, you know, you do have this one instance where all the researchers come and unlike, you know, the rest of Europe where we are running, you know, different branding for each university and each organization, you have this one website, which I think my colleague Diana just shared in the chat as well. So all your researchers will be coming to the DMP tooling and creating their plans through there, which is quite unique. I think our collaboration has been very unique and great so far. But like you pointed out, there are sometimes challenges and we need to negotiate to make sure, you know, it does work well for Finland, but also ensuring the features which we're working on together are hopefully going to be possible to apply, at least some parts of it, to the other parts of DMPonline. So I think we received just here a question here from Laura. I don't know, Laura, whether you would be actually able to unmute yourself and whether you would like to ask Soile.
Sorry, can I say that there is Diana Pilvar was first?
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. So the first question is, how many national funders are there in Finland?
I don't remember the amount, but the Research Council is the biggest one. And then we have a lot of foundations. There are tens, or I don't know, are there hundreds, but there are lots of foundations. And biggest of them are Kone Foundation. When you are seeing some lifts around or escalators around the world, this Kone Foundation is one of the biggest, and they are funding that kind of, how would I say, new kind of research, which is usually related to culture and arts or humanities. That is a little bit different, but they have this. And we also have, I don't know what kind of system different countries have, but a lot of small funders that are named by some relatively important person, and they have collected a lot of money during their life, and they want to share it, so they are sharing these little amounts. So we are many tens of funders in Finland, but the Research Council is the biggest. And of course, if you check amount of the funding, it is the EU funders.
Okay. The next question is from Laura.
Laura actually is having her camera on, so if you want to ask Laura in person.
Yeah.
So following up on that, it's this European funding, you mentioned it briefly that it should also work for Horizon Europe and ERC grants, but could you elaborate a bit?
Yeah, Research FI is getting the funding information from the EU, is it Cordis database? It goes there, and I think it's it goes quite quickly after decisions have been published. So we just use the API to get the information from there too. And it's same kind of system and same kind. It includes almost the same things as the Finnish funder, but there is not always the research domain in those metadata fields. And now I have seen that the research.fi is using artificial intelligence to pick up the research domain from the abstract text. So we are not using that domain field, what is in the research.fi, but we have to check how it's going to be work for us. Is there something else I can tell you about?
No, thanks. Was very clear. Thank you. And thank you a lot for the presentation as well.
Thank you, Laura.
So I'm just checking the chat, and thanks to all of my colleagues and Diana keeping an eye on the chat as well.
Next question was from Johanna Laiko Kaurane. Do you want to switch your camera on and ask your question yourself? Or is it more a comment?
It's more a comment, yes, I
yeah,
can see there.
Yeah, it's more a comment.
It's a comment just adding to Soile's response that we have a lot of foundations, but actually how much are contributing to the science itself. I didn't find background information. I was trying to Google for you, Soile, but many foundations, but the most significant, I would say that they are in 20 or 30.
Yeah. And for example, Cultural Foundation is a big national funder, and Business Finland, which is part of our Ministry of Employment. So these are for the cultural foundations are for the cultural work or scientific work, and the Business Finland, as the name tells, it is more like business innovations and this kind of project, but that is big player too in our country.
Also just double checking, we are having shared notes for today, and I'm just trying to see whether somebody typed a question in there. But I think my colleagues are just copying and pasting the questions from the chat there, as I'm looking.
Okay, I have a question. Can I go ahead, Magdalena?
Yeah, please go ahead.
I want to ask this question for Soile and her colleagues. How difficult was it to set up a council, for the universities to collaborate and share efforts on data management?
I haven't been involved this since the day one. I was in a smaller organization when these first steps were taken, but it has took a lot of work, as you can imagine, and there are some good sides when there is a small country and people know each other, but it means that there are lots of same people doing the work. So it's not easier to know when you go to the meeting. Then you have to check who are these people here and what. So then you can recognize what is the group I'm involved in now, because sometimes you have so much national working groups for one person. So one person is making this work a lot, and I can, when I showed you some of the photos, I can recognize there some faces that are still heavily involved in our national working group. So same people are working still with the open science and data management things, and I think the national collaboration is very important for us to get things done. But of course, we are now preparing the next consortium, and we are wishing that there are some big universities that are not involved in our consortium nowadays, but we are still working together in different projects to change information. And some of those organizations have said it's a little bit lonely to work without this national network that we have around this DMP tool and DMP work. So there are little bit changes in the atmosphere now, but I hope we can continue together. And maybe we are now, there hasn't been so much organizations in the EOSC. So now one of the biggest universities, University of Eastern Finland and University of Helsinki, has now been involved in this European Open Science Cloud infrastructure. So we hope that that builds more international levels to our collaboration.
Thank you, Soile. I'm just keeping an eye on the chat, but I haven't seen any further comments from there. So I would like to just invite, is anybody in the room having any more questions or comments for Soile?
I do.
Go on, Diana.
Sorry, Soile, if it feels like an interview, I apologize. Do you find DMP tooling works well for a national instance?
I think it works well. University of Helsinki has been the Tuuli office place now for 10 years, and we have started discussion to move this Tuuli office service to another university, so that the know-how about this tool would be widely spread, not just in our organization. So it means that when you have this Tuuli office, which is the national help desk, it means that we have to have resources to make this national level service and to our services for our university. But it's quite easy when we know each other, as I have already told, that we have this strong collaboration. But I don't know, is it very difficult, because I'm very networked person myself, so it's quite like I'm working with the same persons in my organization. I don't mind working people in 30 other organizations, so it's quite easy. But for our university, it has meant a little bit that we don't have so much time to develop certain services in our university, but we have to check how this works after we are changing the Tuuli office for a different organization and getting things more done in our university related to DMP things. So some people might think that we are working the DMP work in our organization, but because we are working on national level, they forgot that we put our input on the national level work. We don't necessarily have time to make these things done in our organization, unfortunately.
Thanks, Soile.
Yes. This is my personal opinion. I don't know if it's the official opinion.
No, it's okay. So Jari is taking over from University of Tampere. I don't know if Jari is in the room.
Yeah, I don't know if
I think I saw him, but he might be going in and out of the room. So I think he joined the earlier session.
Yeah.
Okay. So unless Diana, you have more questions, or anybody else has more questions for Soile, I would like to say thank you, and we're actually just getting there. Thank you also from Lisa Olsen, from Sunet. I would like to say many thank you for taking the time and also just for collaborating with DMPonline for 10 years. Your inputs have been and are really instrumental to the tool, and like you showcased, many of the features we work in collaboration with you will be applicable as well for the wider DMPonline community and most of these ideas, because it's working on a national level, which is such a unique way to really have the instance working, have been very influential, because you are coming with a very good and hands-on knowledge from the whole country, not representing just one university, but seeing, you know, how different features and functionalities could really work for many users and many organizations. So thank you for all the years you have been working with us and staying with us, and for all of your support.